loved ones, thank you for joining me today. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome to the family. Today, I will be reviewing Married at First Sight Season 15, Episode 9. The episode was called, Are You Gonna Gaslight Me? Please subscribe so that you can be part of the congregation. And please comment so that you can be part of the conversation. And with that, let's get started.
Welcome to Fueled by Intentions, where we talk about faith, family, finances, fitness, and fun. Sponsored by Bynum's Business Solutions, where the right fit is made simple. We specialize in tips, tools, and strategies designed to help you achieve your financial health so that you can take control of how you spend your money so that you can spend more time with your family, friends, and doing the things you love. So let's jump right into the video.
Stacia and Nate. We see Stacia and Nate in their montage on day 20, and Stacia is giving Nate an unwrapped gift, which is the shirt that will play into the episode later. I felt like this couple the whole time. We saw the insecurities of Stacia because she is really needing to feel loved, which I think is a human emotion. We all want to feel that unconditional love, but she really wants to hear it, and she wants to hear Nate profess his love for her. And I think that was the whole kerfuffle this entire episode. We then see them later on that day having their love conversation, taking a swim, and Stacia asks Nate, where are they on the spectrum of falling in love? And Nate says that he is 4 or 5, give or take. Now, I thought that was interesting because he said give or take. So if he's at a 4 and he takes, he's now at a 3. So I thought it was even worse than what Stacia was thinking. He says he is lowballing his feelings because then there is more of upside potential. He says time will allow him to get towards 100%. Stacia is from a 0 to a 10, she is at an 8. Nate does not want to be overly excited. Stacia then goes back to something Pastor Cal said, that love is a commitment and not a feeling. Nate says that he was in love during high school, but he wants to take it slow. Stacia says that she is not giving him an ultimatum by giving him an ultimatum, by not giving him an ultimatum, but she needs to see him being loved by decision day. And I just thought, really, that seems so desperate to me. It's only 8 weeks. And if you really want a marriage that's going to last a lifetime, and it's so crazy. I mean, I have been married in a couple of days. It'll be 25 years in a couple of days from the taping of this video. It's September 2022. And on the 27th of September, I will have been married 25 years. And we laugh about the day we got married and what we thought love was, because when you're married for a certain time, the love that you feel for that person after you really go through some hard things together, oh my God, you know what? That was definitely puppy love. So I think in a marriage, love grows, and it grows out of the relationship and the experiences that you have. So it's just really interesting to see them wanting to hear us say. But I really think that for Stacia, it goes into her love language is words of affirmation. And some of us, and I like to hear it too, want to hear the person say, I love you. But I feel like if that is the case, then she has given Nate mixed signals. We then see them in the kitchen, and Stacia lets him know that they need to have marriage goals that involves love. They need to have a measurable goal of when they are going to fall in love. And she says that love is a commitment and not a feeling. Then Nate names his commitments of finances, living structure, and kids. But then she says someone could be committed in all of those areas, but not be in love. I feel like that was a contradiction because you just told him that love is a commitment, not a feeling. And then when he named his commitments, you're saying, well, you can have a commitment, but then you can still not be in love. So I feel like she is confusing him and she is confusing me too. I agree with Nate that she was trying to get his attention in the wrong way, and it is a form of manipulation. Stacia then goes back to the foundation of how we all see love. She says, do you feel differently about me now? We all want to be accepted in spite of our faults and shortcomings. So I think that that's what she was asking. Now that you see a fault in me, which I think is the same thing that Lindsay is asking, is when you see a fault in me or something that you don't like, or when I don't do what you think I should do, are you gonna still love me? And I think that that is the foundation of all of who we are and how we do want to experience love from one another, whether it's in a relationship or family, whatever. We want to experience unconditional love, which is the love that God gives us. I feel like the true unconditional love is only the love, the agape love that God can give. So it's really interesting that we are all, as humans, fighting and wanting to be accepted by others through how they love us, in spite of who we are or what they see of us. So something to think about. I loved all of these conversations. We then see them on day 22, and they're at their cooking lesson. And Stacia says she promised herself that she would not run away from her husband, but she would run towards them when problems arise. So she is trying to do that in this cooking lesson. And I commend her from that, because sometimes when it gets uncomfortable, we definitely don't run towards, we run away from. So I was really proud of her in this moment. At dinner, Stacia reveals that her concern comes from Nate saying that he was in a 2-year relationship and he did not love the person, which I think that that would be fearful for me too, because it's like, when do I get to relax? When do I get to relax? But you're not going to be able to relax in 8 weeks if he has been in a relationship for 2 years just because he says it. I'm sure he said it in that relationship too. So I don't know if that what she's looking for, if the words are really going to give her the comfort that she seeks. But Nate says that he had love for that person, but it was a toxic situation that resulted from an ultimatum. And I think he was talking directly to Stacia, because she's already given him that ultimatum that if he does not love her by decision day, then that's going to weigh in on her decision. And so I think that this is really a sticky situation. Stacia is afraid of him not being in love with her, but he says that she has nothing to worry about because he really likes her. Nate wants her to believe in him and then have 100% faith in him, but Stacia says she is still going to challenge him, and which in my opinion translates to push him to say what she wants him to say, which is not good at all. But I think it's funny because I think in the relationship we feed on one another's insecurities. So Stacia's insecurity is where she needs to feel and hear that she is loved, and Nate's, so she pushes him in order to say that. And Nate's insecurity is that he does not want to be triggered by ultimatums because he's experienced that in the past. And her pushing him to say, I love you, triggers his ultimatum of not want to be given ultimatums, insecurity. And then it is what we call the crazy cycle of love, where you're just spinning around and around because you are both touching the insecurities of the other person. So I don't know how this is going to pan out. We then see them on day 25 and they're getting ready for couples therapy. And Nate thought that Stacia did a great job on the size of the shirt. And Nate took it all well and said that they have to get the girls back from playing this joke on them when all the men showed up with the same shirt on. And I loved Nate's attitude, and I cannot wait to see how the guys get the girls back, because like, what are you gonna do? Like, I think that was very inventive as to what they did. So I can't wait to see how they're going to get them back. And I hope they do. And I think that would be something really fun. And let's hope that Mitch participates. So, and then group therapy comes, and Dr. Pia, who we were glad to see, Dr. Pia, she was in the house in full effect. I really wish that her session would have been longer with each of the couples and possibly even a one-on-one. But I was very happy to see Dr. Pia on this episode. But Stacia says that she is feeling lonely, vulnerable, isolated, abandoned, and sad. Stacia does not feel that Nate matches her vulnerability. But my thing is how can you tell if somebody matches your vulnerability? We all are vulnerable in different ways. And just because he doesn't have a lot of drawn out sad stories to tell, I don't think that means that you're not being vulnerable. I mean, I could probably cover the sad stories in my life with someone in a weekend. And then I've told you everything I've told you, and I'm not going to cry over every little sad thing. So some of us just don't have a lot of negativeness to share or raw emotions. We just take life as it comes, and I think that she is really making way too much about this vulnerability. But sometimes I say that, and then here we go with Binh and Morgan and all that came out with Binh. I was shocked about that because I thought Morgan was making too big of a deal. So we'll see what the vulnerability of Nate will be once she continues to push. Nate says that he is taking actionable steps to show her that he is trying in this relationship, and he gives an example of therapy. He is frustrated that she does not see him as trying. If she does not believe in him or have faith in him, then he will begin to give up. Nate is disappointed, and Stacia begins crying because she does not want him to give up. Stacia says that she has to determine how long she is going to wait until he catches up. So I felt like with that statement, she kind of doubled down and didn't hear anything that he said. And I think that is the issue in relationships. We are so focused on what our need is. We do not kind of stop and push back and see what the other person's need is, because I feel like sometimes when you stop, push back, you meet the other person's need, that is going to trigger them meeting your need. And I'm talking to myself too, so it's not just y'all, it's all of us. I need to do some of this stuff too, which is why I love watching the show, because I think that it just brings out things in relationships that we can all apply. We then see Stacia and Nate's private conversation, and Nate says he is disappointed because he is putting in effort and others see it, but the person that he cares about the most, which is Stacia, does not, and that really hurts his feelings. One thing I loved about every time Nate responded to Stacia is he stuck on the issue. He never went to what he wasn't getting or what he wanted her to do. He really just talked about the issue at hand, and he focused on himself. I felt like he never really, because I feel like in an argument or a disagreement, when you then point out what the other person needs to do or what the other person's not doing, then you're entering another conversation in the problem. And they say the measure of a true relationship is how they disagree. And I feel like he disagreed in a manner that stuck to the subject. So I really think that he is going to make it. They are going to make it, because how you have disagreements really is telling about how you're going to be able to move forward in the relationship. And if you have a disagreement and the other person feels defeated or their character attacked, I think that is when you have trouble. So I really liked Nate's response in all of these conversations, because I felt like he was sticking to that one issue that Stacia was having. He says that she said words does not mean nothing, so he does not know where to go because he did exactly what she said. Her thing is that she wants to see action. So he is trying to take actionable steps and give her what she said she wanted, since she has said that words does not mean anything. And that is where I feel like she is contradicting herself with him, because if that's what she said, then you're saying, he's trying to accommodate what you said you want, and now that's not good enough for you. Stacia then tries to justify her freedom of speech by saying that she said those things because there was a therapist in the room and she needed to give background of where their week was, and so that the therapist could help. I don't think that was a justification as to why you really demean. I mean, she made him look bad, I'm sad, abandoned, lonely. I mean, those were some very strong things to say when you're a newly married couple and your husband hasn't. I think he was shocked in that moment. I think that was just her justification in order to kind of, I don't know, I felt like she was kind of getting back at him because he hurt her feelings. And so now she is hurting his. But I could be wrong about that. Maybe that she's not that type of person and I'm projecting on her. But I did not like how that went in that session, unless there's just something that we are just not seeing, and maybe he's really ignoring her or whatever. I don't see what she's saying being true unless they're not showing us that side of their relationship. Nate says he is feeling like she does not believe in him, and he's already told her that faith in him is most important to him. He is tired of proving himself to her, and he thinks it is her and not him. And the thing about proving himself is that's something that she said before the show began in her pre-taping, that she's going to make her husband prove himself to her, and she's going to give him a little bit at a time and feed him little until he proves himself in that area, and then she'll move on to the next. And I guess that is not faring really well with Nate. She says what he is promising is in the future, and she needs him to communicate and be vulnerable in the here and now. I can understand her asking for communication if he's not communicating, but I think vulnerability is very personal, and you really can't tell if the person is being vulnerable or not just because they're not sharing a lot of deep emotions or feelings. Maybe that's just not what they feel about that subject. He says she is not patient enough for him to grow and get deep with her. So it sounds like he's saying he needs to be get more comfortable before he can go deep. And I don't know what deep means. And, maybe that's the vulnerability that she's talking about. I don't know. It's interesting. Stacia said in her cameo that Nate is getting upset for something that she does not see as a big deal, but she strong-armed him, trying to force him to say, "I love you." And when she did not get the reaction she wanted, she told a group of people she is having a terrible marriage and her husband is making her feel lonely, abandoned, and sad. Previously, she said she was a lot, and I think maybe this emotional side of her is what she was talking about. She says she always gets what she wants, and I think she was trying to get it in this episode. She said she was going to make sure her mate proved himself, but I think she is taking it just too far in this episode. So that is all for Stacia and Nate. Oh my God, what do you think about Stacia and Nate? Stacia had a lot to say about this episode. She was featured in the after party. So if you haven't seen my after party recap, please go see that next. What do you think about this couple? Do you think that Stacia is going to yield to Nate's request? Do you think that they will get over this hump? What do you think about the communication? Do you think that Nate did a very good job of communicating and staying on the subject? Well, let me know what you think by sounding off in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, live with intention. Be intentional.